Tea Time with WhistlePig. On this day, within the wood, a kerfluffle emerged, taking the form of a social gathering, and a formal affair it was indeed. The midday ceremony had already commenced, bringing together Miss Lamb, Miss Giraffe, Mr. Fox, Mr. Elephant, and Mr. E.T. Morrison. This diverse congregation often met in this way to revel in a spot of debauchery, while conferring in regards to one's history. The presentation was delectably divine, during this particular union responsible by the acquisition of a now freshly cracked fluid container of rye whiskey that garnishes the table.
Welcome, 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 welcome. And welcome. Shall we inaugurate this conjuncture at the time of 3:30? Does everyone concur?
The assembled lot, in cahoots with one another, did not object to the notion. At this point, Mr. E.T. Morrison dispensed a generous portion to all who attended the party.
Onward and upward. Are you each so inclined to partake in this fine spirit?
Miss Lamb and Miss Giraffe found this to be an exquisite idea. The spicy character and dark rich flavor went down with a smoothness one could only attain with a rye.
Hear, hear.
Mr. Elephant, feeling devilish, ambiguously took a possibly challenging side to the debate of the whiskey's stature.
Preposterous.
Mr. E.T. Morrison forces a breath from his chest in dispute.
Oh, poppycock, I say. If I hadn't poured this into my cup myself, I'd take claim that it spilled over from a bursting cloud, making its way from the sky to this very table, and betwixt my lips. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better dram.
Indubitably, one would be hard-pressed to find a superior rye whiskey. The remaining members of the table agreed, as did Mr. Elephant. Secretly, of course. He just found amusement in the sport of sparking up a fire. After depleting the contents of his own cup, Mr. E.T. Morrison visually examines Mr. Fox's before taking it upon his own hand.
Goodbye, whiskey.
Down the hatch.
How peculiar, Mr. Fox. You sly fellow. You've emptied your cup. Perhaps a double is in order. That's more appropriate.
Mr. E.T. Morrison overfills the cup, causing liquid to spill forth.
Oaf.
An oaf he was indeed. Mr. E.T. Morrison was well aware that in order to attain its signature smoothness, rye must be aged at a minimum of 9 years. To spill a drop of this particular 10-year vintage was blasphemous. Had Master Distiller Pickerel and Founder Bacchus seen such a plight, they would certainly be crying whiskey tears tonight.
Why, Mr. Fox, somehow you've finagled my hand into dispersing more than can be carried. Please, accept my condolences for this blunder. Now, where were we?
Flabbergasted, the group drew attention to Mr. Elephant.
Why, Mr. Elephant, consumption through your trunk is not proper table etiquette. Don't forget to mind those pinkies, everyone.
Miss Lamb and Miss Giraffe appeared lackadaisical, as they were not nearly as loquacious as in tea times past. This may have to do in part with the recent squabble the two entered prior to the sit-down. Lamb insisted proper dress attire was in order, while Giraffe held her ground, stating animals require no clothing, let alone formal wear.
I do admit that our outings have become a little bit more liberal, so I strike these clothesless shenanigans from future endeavors.
What's wrong with Flopper?
I think he needs help.
I think this is his help.
And so concludes this session of Tea Time with WhistlePig. The end.